Uh, so about, I had this situation over here at 28 and Sanborn Road. Anybody who's familiar with that area knows how it's a safety concern. About a year ago, I brought that, I asked a year ago by some residents, why don't we have an officer at Rockingham Road and Sanborn Road when the parents and buses are dropping off students in the morning and picking up students in the afternoon to help exit Sanborn Road? So I brought this up to the council at a public comment, and I got a thank you response. I asked the chief and was told that he didn't have the manpower and he couldn't guarantee an officer out there at the time, and it, could pose a liability. So when I was elected, I was asked again about this. So I spent the last 3 weeks doing my own research into this matter. So if you look at Route 28 and Sanborn Road, it's a posted 40-mile-per-hour zone. There is a light if you are headed north on Rockingham Road with a 30-mile-per-hour sign that flashes yellow 45 minutes prior to the start of school and 45 minutes after school lets out. Now, this light is located in the area of Old Mammoth Road. The other light that flashes with a 30-mile-per-hour sign is posted about halfway between Sanborn Road and Page Road when you are headed south on Rockingham Road. Both of these lights are functional and go on at the correct times. If you are headed south on Route 28 from Manchester, when you go past Page Road, the road starts to decline. There's a hill there. As a result, in many cases, vehicles pick up speed and go faster than the posted speed. This makes it difficult for vehicles exiting Sanborn Road, especially if you're trying to make a left and turn out of Sanborn Road and head south on Route 28. Now, keep in mind, buses are longer than cars and do not accelerate and move as fast. As a result, it makes it harder for them to pull out safely when traffic is such as big trucks are coming down, headed south on Rockingham Road, down the hill, approaching the intersection. So this intersection once had a crossing guard many years ago. This is probably before any of your times here. Maybe Ted remembers this because he's been in town for a while. There was a woman, and she got struck by a vehicle there while she was crossing students. Thank God she survived. The rail trail got funding to put a light up so people could cross safely. I'm not sure why a regular traffic light was not installed, but this is what we now have. So that light serves the purpose for the rail trail as a pedestrian light, but does nothing to protect the students, parents, and bus drivers that have to exit Sanborn Road every day and take their life into their hands. So for 3 weeks, I've sat up there and I've done my own due diligence. This is my observation in the morning and afternoon in the area for the past few weeks. Very few vehicles travel 30 miles or less in that area. I know this because 28 years of being a police officer and watching vehicles and running radar and such, I have a good sense of that. Construction season is here. I saw many construction dump trucks loaded, moving right along, well over 30 miles an hour, coming down that hill. Many tractor trailers coming through this area, coming from businesses at the airport, also over 30 miles an hour. We have FedEx, UPS, delivery trucks of all kinds coming down that road towards Sanborn Road. Vehicles heading south, waiting to make a left turn onto Sanborn Road, are passed on the right, with vehicles not even slowing down. 2 vehicles, one northbound and one southbound, both wanting to turn onto Sanborn Road and unable to because other drivers are passing them on the right. The rail trail walker, one day when I watched him, he pressed the light. So I'm like, oh, this is going to help. Actually, it didn't, okay? So they were able to cross 28, and after the person crosses traffic, it left chaos. Nobody knows who should go. Eventually, Rockingham Road traffic moves. Sanborn Road traffic is unable to proceed safely. I headed south on Rockingham Road in my own vehicle, traveling at 40 miles an hour. And when I got to the school zone, those vehicles in front of me pulled way ahead, doing well over 30 miles an hour. Vehicles laying on their horn. I was even passed in the no passing zone. Okay? So I've even saw police cars drive by, and nobody stopped to help direct traffic. So then I went and I checked at on South Road. We have South School there. I didn't observe this kind of traffic issues at all, and we have a school resource officer there. The middle school on Mammoth Road, all right, traffic doesn't move that fast on Mammoth Road compared to Route 28, but we also have an officer with a cruiser at the middle school letting out students and buses safely. So at one of the most dangerous school areas where students, parents, and bus drivers try to come out of Sanborn Road, we have no help. So I would ask that the town manager direct the police department administration to have an officer at Rockingham Road and Sanborn Road at the prior of start of school and when the school lets out, for the safety of the children, the parents, the bus drivers, before we have a tragic accident in this area. With those trucks coming down that road, we are, a matter of time before we're going to end up with a serious accident down there and somebody's going to get hurt. We are on borrowed time. Something needs to be done. I believe this can be done at no cost to the taxpayer, and I do not want to see this done on overtime or any added cost. And I ask my fellow councilors to support this for the safety of the people in our community. I remember when we were talking about putting Christmas lights up on the common, and nobody wants to take Christmas away from people, and that. So, so I'm looking at I don't want to lose, one of our kids and kids get hurt. So, Londonderry has faced issues like this before. So, for example, on 102 by exit 4, there was never a traffic light there for years. We had an officer directing traffic there every single afternoon until we got a traffic light put up there. So, that's what I'm looking for as far as trying to get this intersection addressed during the kids going to school and parents and buses for the safety of those students.
So we put it in new business, so it can be, we give the acting town manager and the police chief a chance
Yep.
to respond or any resources he needs, so at the next meeting we can address it. Unless you want to make a comment now. I don't want to put you on the spot, but.
I work best
Okay, all
on
right.
the spot.
So
So
we put it on the new business.
as
so
the
you-
acting town manager at the councilor's request, I'll talk to myself about it first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Do you guys mind if I go to the podium as the police chief rather than sit here? Thank you. Councilors, good evening. Mr. Bouchard, thank you very much for that indulging intro. 28 years in the police department was a long time, and you did serve there a long time ago. Actually, back when you were a patrol officer, I'm pretty sure that the traffic was not what it is today. However, your concern is well noted. We've talked about this in traffic safety. We've talked about this at numerous town council meetings. SROs belong in the school. We know that when shootings take place, they need to be a cop in the school. We don't need cops directing traffic. They need to be inside protecting schools that pick up and drop offs. When issues happen, we need a cop in the school at those times. School crossing, we have one elementary SRO. And I'm glad you brought up the part about the SROs. When we talked at traffic safety about having vacancies, I had said, when I fill up, I'm putting another cop in the school. It's important. If I have one SRO at the North School, then I don't have an SRO at the South School. I have an SRO at the high school. I have one that's in the middle school. And you're correct. The middle school's a dangerous spot. They're out there every single day to the best of their ability. They're even out there in the lousy weather. The issue is not about the police won't do anything about it. I have a solution. I can reallocate personnel. That's my job, not the council's job. I dictate where my personnel go. I'm protected by statute. I put them at my discretion of the police department. I don't have the ability just to stick one up there every single day without a cost. It's not about money. It's about having personnel available to handle other calls for service in the north part of town. I have one patrol. I love advertising to all the criminals out there. I have one patrol guy who works the north part of town. So all they need to do is just wait to know that I've got a guy over there to go do something over there. That section is dangerous, no doubt. If I was a resident and I was that concerned about going out there, I'd go down to Clark Road, bang a right, and go down and come out on 28 where the sight line visibility is a lot clearer. That's what I would do. Your point is well taken. The deputy chief will add more directed patrols, for sure. This is the challenge I've been telling you folks for years. We can only put so many people out at so many places at once. If I had an emergency call for service at the crosswalk or the crossing section up there, they leave to go handle the emergency call for service in that sector. This isn't anything that we're trying to solve that hasn't been a problem forever in every municipality. We hire crossing guards. We do. We try to fill them. Do you want to stand out there for $15 an hour? Probably not. So when these things do get brought to my attention, I address them. We don't shirk these calls off. We don't downplay them. We understand the severity of it. You know, when in the summertime, when the SROs are not in school, 2 of them stay to help with programs. The other 2 go to help with traffic assignments throughout the community for that the summertime when they're not in serving as an SRO. So I do hear you loud and clear, Dan. We're working on this. This is the first time this has been brought up to me, and I'd assume through the deputy chief in quite some time. Have you recalled anything of late coming in about this intersection?
Not of late.
Not of late. Until right now?
Correct.
Okay, it's on the list. We'll put somebody out there for directed patrols, and we're on it. Simple.
Did you have a question, Deb?
I do. Can you switch your hat again as town manager, please? Turn around and put that other hat on. Thank you. Very good.
Thanks.
So I was listening to what you said,
Yep.
and I listened to the whole thing, and we do have these lights here. Is it possible, as the town manager, to look at getting a timing system on there? So you know how like they have so it's always green going this way, right, on 28, right? But when there's a queue of 4 or more cars on Sanborn or on you know what I mean?
Okay,
The thing
I'm
can
with you
read.
so
There's
far,
a
yeah.
little sensor thing they put on the lights, and if it sees that, it can trigger it and stop the traffic to allow. So in other words, it
I
stops
see what you're saying.
rocking and turns.
You're asking if we can make an inquiry with DOT, if they
Correct.
can put sensors in the ground on Sanborn Road to trigger these things if there's cars piling up to turn red so traffic can get out.
Yeah, I mean that's a safe way to do it, and it.
Yep,
and
it's a good question.
I don't know.
don't know if that's even a thing, but
I do know it's a thing, but I don't know
yeah,
if it
I don't
works
know.
with those lights.
I think that may be, I think that's Division 5 DOT. I don't know if they have anything to do with the crosswalk there, but I can double check on that.
Yeah, because it's not a pedestrian thingy; it's a sensor
I get you.
thingy.
I get you. The other quick solution is much like we do on Sergeant Road. We have no traffic coming out left during the school hours. We can talk to the traffic safety. We can get a hold of signage, and maybe we do that while school is in order, or that time frame, 7 a.m. to 8:30, whatever it might be. No left or right hand turns out of Sanborn Road. I don't know, but I can look into that request for you. I don't know if it's doable or not. I wish I could tell
I don't
you.
either. It just came to me, so
Sure.
I figured for next week when we have it as old business, it can be
Sure.
talked about.
Dan had another question.
Well, I've got a couple comments. First of all, yeah, there are a lot of cars that go down on 28 and Clark already. All right, and when you state that, you know, you want the cops in the school not directing traffic, but we have them at the middle school directing traffic.
We do.
We have them at South School directing traffic, all right? And everybody's always concerned, and I've heard, you know, the acting town manager say this many times, liability, we're gonna get sued, okay? Well, I've brought this up before, I'm bringing it up again.
Sure.
All right? God forbid should there be an accident up there, all right? It's gonna fall on us for not acting. I know that it's up to you to direct your personnel, all right? And that you don't want to have a patrol officer tied up there, all right? Very simple, all right? And I wasn't going to go there with this, but there are plenty of people in that police department, administrators, if need be, that you can take, go up there and make sure that the traffic is taken care of for the safety of our children and our citizens, all right, before we end up with an accident. That's where I'm going.
Okay. Let's give them a chance to get back to us.
And
right.
I just want something done.
All right.
And I don't want to wait forever.
Let's give them a chance to get back to us at the next time, Council.
I think that your point, Mr. Bouchard, is well taken. But again, just as you said, you want something done immediately. This is some of the similar things that residents talk about on their own roads too. So we will add it to the list, as I tell everybody. We will follow through on directed patrols, like I say every single time. And we'll do the best we can to address this intersection.
Response by next,
Yes, we'll put it on the agenda, under old business.
so we'll have it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and I'll find out with DOT if
Yeah.
that's even a thing. I don't know, but we can
Yeah.
find out. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Sweet, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to add, certainly, it would have been very helpful if we could have passed and hired on new police officers that our past weren't, as potentially this would have helped with our situation. And as well, secondly, I believe for that section of 28 needs to be probably further studied, and I think the 10-year plan by the state has been trying to look at that area as well with the triangle area with the Mammoth mobile station there and Mammoth Road for quite a while. And I know they've been trying to get a light there in the past, but either due to funding or saying it's too close to other lights or intersections, you know, there might have been reasons why they had said no in the past. And I think we were lucky that we got at least the crosswalk light there. And I know a intersection light that's fully working is not a cheap option. And I would hate for the state to come down and say, oh, no, that's on you now, even though it's a state road, because they may deem, oh, it's not necessary by our studies. If you want that, you got to pay for it. So I'd hate for that to be their response, but hopefully maybe we can give a push there. If you can maybe give an inquiry with our DOT, being our state representative on the board.
Absolutely.
I got one more comment, Ted, on what you said, all right, about the town voting down the police officers. I've heard this at traffic safety tonight. I've heard it in the community from town employees, police officers saying, well, you know, the town voted down the 2 officers. All right, and this has been brought up through the budget process many times. We have vacant positions on that department. If you fill those vacant positions, maybe we'll have the officers to put for traffic. That's my position on it.
Let's give the town manager / chief a chance to get back to us at the next meeting.
Yep.
All right? Thank
Will
you,
do.
sir.